Hey everyone, welcome to episode 9 of Grit Daily Dose with your hosts, EJ and
Emma. E squared.
yes, E squared. Um, so we try to be a one stop shop for all things science and experience based knowledge on supplements, nutrition, exercise, and even lifestyle. So we can bring you an honest education, hopefully, in efforts to help you along the way towards whatever goals you may have. So today we are talking about our top biomarkers for performance, recovery, and body composition, or whatever like weight preferred goals that you might have. And Emma's got the lead today, so I'm gonna let her take it.
Ooh, this was my idea. So he threw me under the bus. He's like, "You got it." I
What?
was like, "Oh, great." um, so this topic was kind of inspired by um, I the Whoop actually.
I
So
was
what
supposed
the Whoop? So a few years ago, I don't know who I heard from it. Like I don't know how I heard about it, but I got it. It was something I was like really wanting, so I got it as like a Christmas present or something like that. And it really got me into um, the just the effect of tracking your biomarkers um, and consistency. So for me, like whether you can make a lot of arguments about like whether it's very accurate or not, right? But for me it was all about consistency. So like I kind of could find like a general range of information, general range of numbers, and if whether it was a few numbers off or not, I wasn't really concerned about the accuracy as much as I was concerned about like what am I doing in my daily life to improve, and are the numbers reflecting that. So that's
to.
really what
Real quick,
biomarkers are there for. But
yeah. So, should we explain what a biomarker is?
that
If someone doesn't know.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of the road I was thinking. I was like on a
Oh,
whim. I
okay,
was like,
go
I
ahead.
don't. We kind of just
Yeah.
dove right in. Well, I don't know. Did you Google the like the
So
actual?
yeah, a biomarker is short for biological marker. It's an objective measurement of what's that's capturing what's happening at any given moment in a cell.
Mhm,
So or living organism.
mhm,
So like when you go get blood work, boom, it's like right there. What's happening in your body? It's going to
yeah.
measure all those markers within your blood. That's what's happening in your body at that given moment.
Mhm,
We'll talk about blood later on, but
yeah.
back to you
I
have it.
well, I just think I think that's when you think about it that way, people really do have to give a little grace to the things
Oh yeah,
like Whoop or Aura Ring or Fitbit, or like it's so hard to know what's happening in your cells at every given time unless you want to go. There's some really high quality expensive stuff, maybe a bunch of crap ton of blood panels you could do, but for me it's just all about consistency and finding a data ba- data driven curve. Basically, like
hmm,
is it
yeah,
staying in the range that you want it to stay? Is it going the direction you want? So the first biometric, arguably the easiest one to track because you don't necessarily really need um, anything to do, is your resting heart rate. So we're going to talk about resting heart rate and variable heart rate, what the difference is and why they're important. So this obviously resting heart rate tracks how many times your heart beats in a minute, keeping in mind that your pulse and your beat is a little bit different as well. The lower the number is, it usually is indicative of a healthier, more cardiovascularly fit person, right? So
mhm,
your your heart is a little bit more efficient in pumping blood through your body to get things done. So most resources, if you just Google like how many beats per minute is normal, like whatever, it'll say 60 to 100 BPM. I would say that's not bad.
hmm,
I would say most people who are eating right, sleeping enough, managing their stress, and exercising regularly, like 4 to 6 days a week, their beats per minutes will definitely be much lower than that. I've gotten mine down to 37. I've had a doctor
Nice.
or two tell me that's a little concerning.
Yeah. Are you okay? I was like, no, I'm fine. I'm just really fit.
I'm just really fit. I've managed my stress well, do a lot of breath work before bed. Um, so, and then it's for resting heart rate. If you want to know, obviously you can have things that track your resting heart rate, but the easiest way to do it is just, bloop, first thing in the morning, kind of keep track of it. And I would do it, maybe track it like right after a good night's rest.
Yeah.
So, if you're just restless all night or you're sick or like the number is going to be a little wonky, but it also might be helpful to see the effect that being sick or having poor night's sleep can do to your body. So maybe it gives you a little more grace, right? So maybe you're normally at 45 and then you're sick and you test and you're at 60 and you're like, oh, my body's working hard. I'm going to take the day off, right? So resting heart rate can provide a lot of insight there. We also have variable heart rate, which is my favorite biometric. I think we were just talking about this before. It's fascinating. So it's your heart beat. Your heart beats at a specific rate at kind of all given times, and that rate is very indicative of how your body's adapting to changes or stress. So especially like activity versus rest. So your parasympathetic and your sympathetic nervous system really is the thing that affects your variable heart rate. Your sympathetic is how you react to being in fight or flight, right? So if you're super, super stressed, if you're just going through it, really hard workout, if your life is in danger, this is the reaction that kind of kicks off in your body, and then your variable heart rate changes. The parasympathetic is actually the process of which your body deploys to kind of bring your body from the sympathetic back down to regular, I'm just, driving to work kind of heart rate. So just normal, bringing things back, relax your body, bring your blood pressure down, heart rate down. I love this one. It is harder to track, but I do love it just because it can be a very clear sign on how adaptable your body can be. So if your heart rate variability is higher, it is a very good sign that your body is adapting well. It's managing stress well. So it's an opposite scale. So resting heart rate, the better, your heart is more efficient. It doesn't need to pump so much. Variable heart rate, if the number is higher, it's a better sign in terms of your body's adapting. Maybe you're fitter. So if the number is low, it can be obviously an indicative of poor health, but also just maybe super high stress, or you're going through a lot of change. So that's why these things, like your heart rate, can hold a lot of information on how your body is adapting to things. Maybe you're going through a lot of change. Maybe you're stressed. Maybe you're sick. And if you're tracking these things, I think it gives you clear data, and it gives you a reason to like maybe give yourself a break. People sometimes try to push through stuff, and their body doesn't need that. They need rest. So this can be a good indicator of that. So anything you have to say on that?
Absolutely. Right with that, like variable heart rate is super, super helpful when it comes to recovery. If your heart isn't varying between high and low, it doesn't have that number is small, yet obviously, let's say someone like us, you're working out multiple days a week, you eat right, your body composition is just fine, yet you look down your Whoop and it's showing that your variable heart rate is low, as in numbers low. Super, super good, I guess, example of maybe I'm not fully recovered.
Yeah.
Also, it could show that your recovery could be in the trash red zone.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
it's one of the reasons I stopped using Whoop, because I lived in the red.
Oh, no.
I was a bad athlete. But some days that'd be like the best workout. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So
well, and there's
like
definitely
said,
some
all
days
those tools
where
have to be used, like given some sort of grace with the information they're giving.
Yeah, exactly. I think definitely nothing is going to beat out how you feel, and I think after a certain amount of time, you're going to know a little bit more. You're going to be able to like keep track of your body a little bit better. And once I really had used the Whoop for maybe like a year, there was a few days where I woke up and it was like 4% or like something egregious. And I was like, I feel fine. Like,
Yeah.
I don't feel that bad. So I think it's also too, like there's days where you wake up, you're 10% and you're like, I'm 10%. Like I don't feel good at all.
Yeah.
And then
I
other days
feel
you're
like a
90%.
trash can on fire.
Yeah. Yeah, literally. And then other days you wake up and you're like, it says 90, but I do not feel 90. So
Mm-mm.
I lived in the yellow. I was a yellow girl. Was my
Mm.
life. Shout out to the Wolverine ZMT. That's what brought me up to the green again. Seriously, lifesaver. So the second kind of biometric that we like to track in general is body comp. There's two ways to kind of track this. It's important to talk about them together because they're kind of synonymous, I guess, together.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for most people, fat loss and muscle gain. So it's important to talk about them together because a lot of people in their journey of becoming healthier or changing their body composition, they're usually replacing body fat with muscle. So unless someone is very, very, very obese or, you know, just in a position of like they can barely move their own body, we're going to be working to lose a lot of fat before
Mhm.
we challenge them to, I mean, even move their own weight or external weight. So
Yeah.
then that will become a time of loading them confidently to gain some muscle. But for the average person working to lose fat and gain muscle simultaneously is usually the best way to ensure long-term results, good commitment,
Mm-hmm.
feeling better,
Yeah.
right?
You can definitely like take it one stride at a time. Like I'm going to focus on fat
Yeah.
loss.
Yeah.
Okay. Just let you know you're going to make it a little bit longer of a journey.
Yeah.
That's okay. If you can't handle going at both, and some people can't.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think for most people, like, uh, if I'm just thinking in like the CrossFit space. So like I have a lot of, especially females, right? A lot of females come up to me and they're like, "Hey, I've been doing CrossFit for 3 months and I haven't lost a pound." And I sometimes want to be like, "Well, what's your fat and your muscle looking like?" Because most likely you just like lost a few pounds of fat and then you just gained a pound or two of muscle and it's equaled out, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of people can be a little bit misled by what the scale says, is where we're going to talk about that in a second. But the good thing is like having more muscle burns more calories, which raises your energy expenditure. So that means more food. And the more food you eat, the more muscle mass you can maintain and build. So we can kind of talk about the InBody scan a little bit here. We are
Mhm.
going to talk about it as well towards the end, but it's a great tool to track those biometrics only because I feel like it's, again, there's an accuracy argument, right? But for most people, it's like the most accessible one. So they're in most gyms. I have one at my gym. It's like $20. You know, maybe I want to do one every 6 months. And it can just be a good reflection of my current body weight. And I think they have like, I'm trying to remember the last time I did a body InBody. It was BMR, obviously fat, muscle. There was like water? Was there water retention?
So yeah, it's the amount of water in your body. So it depends on what machine you're using.
Mm-hmm.
There's super basic ones. There's like 3 different levels.
Oh, okay.
And each one goes into different areas. You can go from baseline where it's like weight, skeletal muscle mass, body fat mass. It'll also get your BMI and body fat percentage. And then most of them will give you, I'm pretty sure, all the segmental lean analysis.
Mm-hmm.
So like how much is in your right arm, left arm, leg, your trunk, which is your torso and butt region. And then
that was always if they
I just want to see the muscle in my butt go up. That's all I care.
The booty gains. I need the peach. Okay.
Then but they can always get to the full extent of where it's like the ECW, which is like total body water, but like intracellular and extracellular, and then like
That would
visceral fat
overwhelm me.
area. Yeah, there's you can get
Ooh, visceral
really
fat is a good
elaborate in
one.
that. If you're in the Portland area, hit up Jimmy over at Max Muscle in Clackamas. He hooks a lot of people up with in bodies, and he's really, really smart when it comes to breaking them down. So,
Ooh,
if
there
anyone's
you
in the Portland
go.
area,
Maybe I need to go to him next week. I'm nervous. I don't want to. I don't want to know. So I guess yeah, InBody is just one of those where I kind of said it's accuracy or not. It's usually the most accessible.
mm-hmm.
I think you could find one in your city with a quick Google search.
Yeah,
Measuring your body with a tape measure is a great way to note physical changes, and it's also one of those that seems to be a little bit, if you're someone who kind of obsesses over body weight or fat or muscle or whatever, it can be a great number to use and tool to use that a lot of people don't get super obsessed with. They don't get overwhelmed with it. It's just something very simple that you can do every week, 2 weeks, once a month, whatever.
yeah,
And it can go both ways, right? So it's one of those where it's easy to see, like, oh, I've been working really hard to get rid of this visceral fat or take inches off the waist. Has it been working or not? Or, oh, I've been working really hard to grow my biceps or my lats or my thighs or whatever it is, my peach. And all of those things can, like, it's very easy to tell, like, has the number gone up or not? So it's very basic. And then last one is measuring body weight. So EJ and I kind of talked about this, where it can be a very misleading number.
mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times if we are working out and we are eating right, our body will usually stay, like, unless we're going from this extreme number down to maybe where our body should be at. For me, I've been working out and eating right for 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
So you bet your booty, I've been in the same, other than my pregnancies, I've been in the same 10-pound range, no matter how fit I've been.
Yeah.
So my body will take some fat away and add some muscle, and then add some fat and lose some muscle. Like, it just kind of, it depends on the range. So the way I like to approach the scale and body weight in general is consistency, as well as keeping me accountable. So I do it on the day that I least want to do it, which is usually Monday. Because then on the weekend, I'm like, do I need this extra bowl of popcorn? Probably not. Like, do I want to see that on my scale tomorrow? Which would I actually? Probably not. But it, like, that mentality helps me kind of be like, okay, well, I do have to weigh myself on Monday, and I know how I get when I'm 2 pounds heavier, even though it doesn't mean that much. So it helps me just learn consistency and sticking with my goals. And then there's, for me, the other thing was consistency. Like,
Okay, yeah,
over a period of time, like, hey, I've been working really hard. For me, I've been working really hard on eating enough. I'm a mom, and I work, and I do CrossFit, and I breastfeed, and I'm up a lot at night. Like, I have to make sure I'm eating quite a bit of food. And it's already hard enough to take a shower. So let alone eat enough food. So for me, it would, I took my weight this last Monday. I'm going to take it again next Monday and see if, like, me eating enough has really affected my weight. The other things I've been able to see is that I'm sleeping better. My workouts have been way better. My mood is, like, completely different. So, yeah, I think everyone can choose whether or not body weight will be helpful for them. Everyone's a little different.
yeah. It can,
So,
it can be at times misleading because, like you said right off the bat, if someone from the gym comes to you and says, "Hey, I've been working out for several months and I feel strong, yet I feel fast, but the scale isn't moving in the right direction. I wanted to lose weight." Well, if you're getting stronger, you're performing better, and yet the scale's not moving in the right direction. What does that tell you? Probably, most likely, not a guarantee, most likely, you're dropping body fat and building muscle.
Mhm. People
Likelihood,
like to see that scale go down though. It's like
they do.
that's
They like to
where doing that
tunnel
body weight
vision.
thing. Yeah. And
Yeah,
that's
the
when
in
you're like,
body.
okay, what else can we flex on? Right? Like maybe we can get
Yeah.
you walking a little bit more, maybe we can change your diet a little bit, but you also don't want to wear them down so much that the scale continues to go in the wrong direction because their body's under too much stress
Mhm.
or not adapting well. So it's a never ending
Yeah. Yeah, it
changing
is.
of things. So, kind of on that same track, we wanted to talk about muscle status and
Mhm.
how the breakdown and the soreness of your muscle can be a really good biometric. So, like, also really important why you should eat if you're
Yes.
working out. Because if you don't eat, your body has nothing to use. So then your muscles just keep breaking down, and then you're not getting stronger,
Yep.
and you feel worse, and you're super sore. So, super sore. You're not building that muscle back up. Your recovery is then trash because you are literally not giving your body full. It's basically like thinking your car should drive without gas. So you
Yeah.
got to give your body food. You got to give your muscles food. But then if you do, right, if you have really good recovery, if the breakdown is managed by giving your body lots of fuel, if you're not super sore, you're not getting rhabdo, um, the growth and the strength and the performance and the explosion and the agility and the flexibility and the mobility and what else? I don't know, like literally everything of your muscles. That's a really good non. I mean, you can't really pull up data.
It's not data driven, but it's a visual measurement
The
experience
only
based measurement.
the only data you really could draw from it is like, are you PRing, or like that would be
Yeah.
one kind of adjacent data point.
Yeah. Are you not
Um,
dragging ass through the workouts?
yeah,
Because are you going in? It's okay to be a little sore, especially like this week for us. We've been testing games workouts.
is that
Um,
next week for me?
yeah, it'll be next week for you.
Well, I have the competition, so I'm not doing the whole week. I'm doing until Thursday.
So it's just kind of so even though you have weeks that are like that, or it's a bigger volume, ensuring that you're eating enough, hydrating enough, sleeping enough, getting proper electrolytes in, doing all the right things to recover. It's okay to have a little bit of soreness, but to the extent where you're having to scale or you're not able to complete a workout in the time domain or even time cap because your body's so broken down, that's a real good slap in the face. Like, here's your sign of your muscles are breaking down, yet you're not taking the proper steps to recover and be ready for the next challenge.
The other thing I guess we didn't note in here is injury.
Yeah. Yeah.
There, and to kind of go off track, but kind of not. I don't know where I would even put this. In the notes, like how we structured it. I have met people. We're gonna do an episode on like menstrual cycles and hormone health and endocrine and all that stuff. But like injuries and poor recovery of the muscle can be a huge indicator of poor adaptation to stress. But also like your endocrine system can be in adrenal can be so shot that your body literally can't recover no matter what you do.
Yep.
So I've met people who had to take like 6 months to a year completely off. Like they literally couldn't work out for I think 12 months. And then just had to eat in a surplus. They had to gain all this weight back. But guess what? Like her period came back. She was sleeping good. When she went back to lifting, it came back a little faster than she thought. Like things when she got back into it were so much better, although hard, right? Because she's starting in a place where she's like, oh, I was so much stronger a year ago, right? Or whatever. Or oh, I was so much skinnier a year ago, but like completely changed the trajectory of the next 10, 20 years of her life because she had to step back. So that kind of goes down a different rabbit hole, but it can be a huge. I don't want to dismiss the importance of like, if you are a female and you do not have your period because you're working out so much and not eating enough and not sleeping enough, that's not good. That's not good at all.
No.
Please don't
No.
continue with that. Take a break. maybe talk to someone, talk to your doctor. So there are ways to definitely train around that. So, is there anything else you kind of wanted to add to that, or we'll move on?
Nope, I'm good. Good.
4 and 5 are pretty. We added a special number 6 because we feel like this is probably an important one. But 4 is just hydration or being dehydrated. So this is also another one that you can't really put a data point on, but it's still important to track. The data point would be like drinking a certain amount of ounces or
Yes.
whatever. But in terms of, you don't have like a, I guess in InBody you could get a data point on the InBody.
You could,
Yeah.
but an easy way to figure out like how much you talk about hydration, dehydration, body water loss, not for weight loss goals, but if you weigh yourself before you go work out your gym, come back home, weigh yourself again, that can be a rough, good estimate of how much body water you've lost. You go to the gym weighing 200 pounds, you come home and you're at 198. It means your sweat loss is probably right around 2 pounds, which that's not hard to reach. I've gone to the gym before and I'm like 203. I come home and I weigh in 199. There might have been a bathroom visit.
I was gonna say.
But
maybe take a pound or two off. That's so much sweat.
Yeah.
Especially because you're drinking during that time too.
Yep. So that's just goes back to ensuring that you're making sure that you're hydrating yourself, getting proper electrolytes. This will ensure proper recovery. And some good signs, like just environmental signs that you're dehydrated. Obviously, faster fatigue, mental state. I've had that where I'm dehydrated or not having enough food in my body, and you start getting the wah-wahs, like not sure if you're going to be there and you're about to pass out. That's a good sign that you need to stop and probably sit, rest, drink some water.
And like eat some fruit that'll sustain you as well, like watermelon. What else? Kiwis. Bananas? Bananas.
Oh, yeah. Good sugar. Yeah. Bananas, potassium. But then with that, also electrolytes. If you start to cramp up, that means you need to start drinking electrolytes and salt. We used to have like, I don't remember what company it was, but it was like, it looked like a pepper spray bottle, a can. But if I was cramping up in the gym, I'd run up and like you shoot it in your mouth and it's just straight like concentrated electrolytes, and you shoot that, take a swig of water. Yeah, within like a couple minutes, you're good.
You know, it's the cheapest option. What I used to do when I was sweating a lot, that fourth tablespoon of iodized salt.
Yeah.
People aren't, sometimes they argue with me on that, but I'm like, it worked. I never cramped. I didn't struggle with, and if you really want, if you like struggle with tossing salt back, I don't know, people get so weird. To me, it was just like toss the salt back, take a swig of water. I was done. You can put like salt in the Mio drops and mix it up. So that's what I do too. But
I got nothing else on that one.
That was a quicker one. It's still important, but I feel like it's a very cut and dry. You know, you're either hydrated or you're not. So
yeah, exactly. But you can get, and it'll go to the last one. You can get blood work that will show that your body's dehydrated, whether or not you actually feel that way.
Yeah, and most people are.
Yeah.
So
I'm probably dehydrated right now.
So same. I'm like staring at my water bottle that's empty. So the number 5 is body temp. So doctors obviously they take your temperature. They use this as an indication, like, is there an infection? Obviously, if you have a fever and if you have inflammation. So higher temperature is used to indicate poor health in terms of, maybe someone's sick, maybe they're inflamed. Women can use temperature to track their menstrual cycles and their ovulation. Natural Cycles is a really good app. That is what I use. It's a natural, basically like a non-contraceptive way to prevent pregnancy or plan pregnancy, right? So it works really well. It's pretty. I think it took me probably 2 or 3 months to like get in the jive of it, and then I just took my temperature every morning when I woke up. So pretty cool how your body adapts like that. Like it is so specific in the temperatures that it wakes up at a certain point in your cycle. That just fascinates me. So obviously your temperature is lowest in the morning and highest in the afternoon or right after exercise. I mean, that just has to do with activity and
Yeah.
the body moving and stress and things like that. Other things that can impact temperature, stress, depression, dehydration, your environment, thyroid disorders is a big one. A lot of people struggle with thyroid disorders. So usually they are, I think it specifically would be rooted in hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism. As someone who
Underactive
has,
or overactive thyroid.
yeah, as someone who has hypothyroidism, I feel it. So I'm cold all the time because my thyroid doesn't work. So yeah, that's the body temp. Pretty cut and dry. Something very
Mhm.
easy to measure.
Yep.
So super cheap to buy a temperature. What is this called?
Thermometer.
Thermometer. That's what it is at the store. There we
I
go.
have one question on
Mhm.
body temp. Is there a direct correlation? Because I feel like there is. I just haven't really looked into it between food intake and body temperature.
I would say so.
Because I
'Cause
know, like, if I go an extended period of time not eating,
cold.
I start getting cold.
Mhm.
Blood circulation starts to
Mhm.
fall short within my hands. Okay, all right. I'm gonna do some research on that.
It would be
'Cause
interesting to see if there's a study that's been done on like people who fast and their body temperatures throughout the day when they're fasting.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
your body, I mean, your body doesn't have to do anything. So it's not really staying active in terms of digestion, which is like how much percentage of the body's energy expenditure? Quite a bit. So,
Yeah,
yeah, we could look into that, see if there's like a
it's interesting.
correlation of, but I know that most people like, even right now, I had like 2 dinners and I'm like hot, which is not like me. So I'm telling you guys, I'm trying to eat more. So I didn't eat enough today. I was like shoveling food. Anyway, okay. Blood work is the special guest
Mm.
of the 5. So I know this is point number 6, but we didn't want to leave it out. Getting a full blood panel. So oftentimes this can be referred to as a biometric screening. Usually biometric screenings include like taking your height, weight, waist measurement, things like that, and then it'll come out with like a BMI, which is only so accurate sometimes. And that's the estimate of your body fat based on your height to weight ratio. For me, it's always been so far off, it's ridiculous. So it can look into your blood pressure, your pulse measurement, fasting glucose, glucose levels, blood cholesterol levels, and triglycerides. So blood panels are a really great way to make sure that you are remaining healthy or improving in certain areas. So, however, keep in mind that just because you're in range, so maybe there's something you're testing for and the range is like 2 to 7, like 7 being optimal, like amazing, the best health ever, and 2 like being the very bottom edge of like being in range, right?
Yep.
And say you're like 2.2. Like some doctors will just be like, "Oh yeah, you're in range, good." When really, like it's you might as well be at 0. It's like you really don't got much going on. So just keep in mind that, and then like if maybe you're at 4, and then your doctor's like, "Okay, let's watch it. It's not ideal, could be worse." And then you go in next time and you're at 3. So like that can be a really good indication like something's not working right, and just be another thing that another tool. So I don't know. did you look up any blood panels that would be?
So the one I really found was essentially a complete metabolic panel. First, like ask
Okay.
your doctor, hey,
Yeah.
I'm interested in improving my performance, my recovery, and I have these health and wellness goals. I want to get some blood panels. More than likely, they're covered once or twice a year, and usually you can get quite a few of them.
Mhm.
Um, and so, first and foremost, the one I found was called, um, well, there's several basics: basal metabolic panel.
Mhm.
You got your blood count, and then there's like the serum iron, ferritin, um, folate, B12, magnesium, all those other ones. But get a complete metabolic panel, and then hormone panel on top of that.
I think it's a. My mom's not in here. I could ask her. She's a master on the thyroid because we like most of my family has hypothyroid. So we're very used to. I think it's a complete thyroid panel. So if you're someone who's concerned about your thyroid function, um, yeah, I mean, really anything like your energy's low, you're not digesting food very fast, you're always cold, even hormone, like you could tell maybe
Mhm.
your period's kind of sporadic or not happening at all. Like this can all be thyroid related, maybe not thyroid caused, but related.
Mhm.
So I think if you ask for a complete thyroid panel, that will indicate that you're interested in seeing free thyroid, T4, T3, like there's like multiple.
Mhm.
And it's important to see all of them because they all tell like a little bit different of a story. So obviously ask your doctors and see what will be the most helpful. Um, but I think it's important to make sure that you're not just shooting to like stay in the range, but optimize the number overall. So
Absolutely.
the other, I think we just kind of want to talk about honorable mentions is VO2 max, but I feel
Yeah,
like
I
this is a
love
very
VO2
specific
maxes.
test. Like
It is,
not a lot of people can get that. So it is
but it's a fun one to do.
it's a fun topic
It
too.
sucks for
Yeah.
like a couple minutes, and then it's all over.
Wouldn't know. I would have a horrible VO2 max. I don't know. I'd be too scared to test that.
I would
So
love to like bring one to the gym,
mhm,
and like people want to pay like $5-10 or whatever it costs just to cover the cost of it,
mhm.
um, to do that at our gym. A lot of
I'm
times,
sure
like
you
a
have
mobile
someone in
setup,
Portland.
I'm sure it's like a mobile setup that they can probably put on the air runner,
Yeah.
um, and hook up to a computer and just on a mask and the whole setup, some electrodes, and then you all out and just measuring the oxygen nitrogen conversion in your body and how efficient you are at using oxygen.
I'm just laughing in my head, like imagining all of the systems like I do it, and the system just starts like alarms going off, like she's having a heart attack. She stopped breathing. And I'm like, the one thing I really had to learn while exercising was to breathe, like lifting weights. And I
But yeah,
remember starting as a teen, and my coach was like, Emma, don't forget to breathe. I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay. It's a lot easier now. I remember. So I guess the last thing we kind of wanted to touch on was like what tools are really helpful for tracking
hmm
things that we talked about. So off the top of my head, I'm thinking obviously InBody.
yeah,
Be cool to get some sort of VO2 max tracking situation. Whoop, Fitbit. I
yeah,
mean, it tracks the basics, right? So it's like,
yeah. They've got they've evolved pretty well
okay,
over the years. Fitbit's a lot more along the line of kind of like an Apple Watch, which that's another one
mhm.
you can use.
Yeah, Apple
Um,
Watch, Garmin.
yeah,
Garmin is
Garmin
one.
has them.
Aura Ring,
Um, Oura Ring's another one. Definitely for those
thermometer.
initial, just carry it around your ear or on the back end.
No, you put it under your tongue and you lay
Oh yeah,
still.
you can do that too.
Or if you have a kid, you put it under the armpit.
Oh.
Okay, and then
For body composition, yes, the InBody, calipers, tape,
yeah.
um, DEXA scans, which are super
Yes.
expensive, but
That's what I was thinking about when I was like, they can get kind of wild. But
yeah, DEXA is like you go into what's it look like? It looks like a CAT scan machine. Is that what
yeah,
it is?
yeah.
And then there's also like the hydrostatic tank, like where you go into water and it's like your body volume within water and the density, and then they scan it. It's really weird. Yeah, it's where you go into a water tank and they somehow measure it.
That's weird.
Yeah, which we can do another episode where we talk more about those, because I got a whole thing on those.
Yeah.
So, but
and then obviously blood work would be the
like,
go to your doctor, say you're interested.
Let me see if I can put a link within our video comments or description to a website that kind of gives you like getting the complete blood count, the hormone panel, nutrient deficiencies, fatigue profile test, all this stuff.
Thankfully, it's really not too hard to find. Like a quick Google search or two can help you really figure out what would be the best things to ask for. So,
and if your doctor's not ancient, they should know that if when you're talking about I work out a lot, I want to improve my performance, recovery, and my overall health. I want some tests. Give like, what's the works, doc?
Yeah.
Give me
it all.
Hormones, all my metabolic basis, and my thyroid.
Yeah.
What can we do?
Perfect.
So, all right. Is that everything?
That's everything. It was a good one.
All right, guys. Yep. Thanks for joining us. We will see y'all on the next one. If you like what you see, subscribe, like, share, tell your friends, tell your family, tell the people you don't even like to come watch this. Maybe you guys will be friends after that.
Yeah, have some common ground.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys in the next episode.